What's going on, everybody? It's Q Jackson, host of BLK Talk. Look, I was over here preparing for another amazing episode, but look, I need you guys to go ahead and hit the subscribe.
What's going on, everybody? It's Q Jackson, host of BLK Talk. Guess what? Almost 2 years to the date, I am here again with my boy Gene Noble, who just released some amazing music. We're going to get into that in a minute. And this man is traveling all around the world, spreading the message of music, love, happiness, the cost going up, and all of that good stuff. Gene, how are you, man?
What's up, man? Good to talk to you again.
You as well. How have things been? It's been almost 2 years since our last conversation, and you're back. You got new music. You're traveling around the world, touring. Like, how's everything been?
Everything's been cool, man. Yeah, I'm in Australia right now, still touring with Sting, but also obviously prepping for my solo tour that's about to happen. So it's been great, man. It's been great. We just we're in Africa. I'm about to go to Asia after this, so it's cool.
Wow. Now, before we get into everything, I just want to know, how does one get an opportunity to travel around the world with Sting? Sting is legendary. Sting is everything. Like, how did that opportunity happen?
Well, I've been touring obviously for a long time with a lot of different artists. So it kind of just started to evolve, and I was actually working on a song with Shaggy that became a song that Shaggy did with Sting, which became an album that they did together, a reggae album that they did together. And since we were singing on the album, they asked us to just come to do the shows with them when they started to promote the album. So that evolved into a tour. And then after they finished promoting that album and Shaggy went to go do his thing, continue doing his records, Sting asked if we could, if we would stay with him. So we did. And here we are now. This is the 5th year. So, yeah.
Wow. So for an artist like yourself, how does an experience like that open your eyes to the type of career, I guess, you want to have, to the type of, the type of legend that you want to be as your career progresses?
Yeah, there's not that many people that are out there still doing it at age 72, so, that he's inspiring just in his discipline and the way that he approaches music and the way he approaches life. That's inspiring. But one thing that's kind of consistent with every artist that I've ever worked with, being on stage and to kind of see it up close and personal, like what works, what doesn't work, what songs work, what songs don't work, what things people gravitate towards, you know what I mean? There's different ways to handle different moments that happen or come up in different situations, I learn at all times. I'm forever a student, and every time I'm on stage, I'm learning something. So it's cool to be like around the legends, because it's like you get something different from them.
Absolutely. So let me tell you this. I saw that you were performing here in Atlanta. I think it was sometime in the middle of January. Tried to work the schedule. I tried to work everything within me out to get there, and it did not happen. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little sad. I was a little heartbroken because I was looking forward to, an amazing show. So as you get ready for the next step in your very own tour, are you coming back to Atlanta?
Yeah, I'm coming back to it.
All right.
We're working on that now. We're hoping that it possibly will be City Winery, Atlanta, but I'm not sure. Or maybe I shouldn't say yet, but yeah, we're working on it. But yes, I'm coming back to Atlanta.
Okay. See, now that vibe of City Winery and the type of music and voice you have, I think that absolutely will be perfect. But whenever it happens, I need to make sure I am in the building. I had the opportunity to listen to the new project, and when I tell you, like, it hit me. Like, I like music that hits me. So tell us about your new project, Feel Away.
Feel Away. These are songs I've been kind of recording over the course of the time being on tour on the road. So I record mostly in my hotel rooms and stuff like that. But yeah, I just wanted to, it's been a while since I put out a full project. So I wanted to kind of like give different feels. So that was kind of the start of it, was, including this feel, that feel, and then all of a sudden the song Feel Away came about, and I was like, that's actually the perfect title, because I really just want to incorporate different feels. And now actually this week I'm working on some new material that's going to be like the deluxe version of the album. So we're going to put some new songs out in a few months, and they'll be out for the time when I'm touring. So yeah, it's just really like I wanted to kind of give people different feels, and I think because I sing so many different ways and I write so many different ways, I wanted to be able to like explore that. And I think, you know, my favorite artists are artists that can kind of like, the only thing that's cohesive or consistent, I guess, about their stuff is them. You know, they could take you on a journey over here, journey over there, journey wherever, and you'll go with them because you trust, you know, that they're going to give you quality, whatever it is, you know? So that's what I love about, like, you know, Beyonce and like Chris Brown, I think is great at that, like doing just different things, and kind of like voice is what carries you through, you know. R. Kelly, you know, yes, but like people like that who, you know, can do all these different things, and like, you know, it's you know, you'll go with them because you trust what they do, you know. So that's kind of what it is. It's just getting into those different fields, and the consistent thing being my voice and my writing.
Yes, now let's get on that voice and the different styles of singing. Like, I can't remember, I was listening to this song, I can't remember which song it was, but like you got to sing it and that voice started in the basement and then it went up to the ceiling. I'm like, how did this man just do this? And I felt it, like it went deep and then it went high, all within a couple different seconds. Like, how does one master something like that and be good at it?
Practice, I guess a lot of practice, you know. I kind of always sing from the place of a musician. Like, I always think of everything in kind of like in terms of like chords and progressions and stuff like that. So really, honestly, before I could actually accomplish what I want to accomplish with my voice, I heard it. So I was always trying to like accomplish what I heard, which is, oh, this moment needs this note, or this moment needs this feel. And so I kind of just like would always study and practice until I could accomplish what I heard in my head, you know.
Okay. So let's get into the songs. So it's 8 tracks. Every song gives a different feel. Every song puts whoever is listening to it in a different space and time.
Yeah.
Now, I listened to the whole thing. Well, I listened to whatever it is when it came out. It was like late last year. And we'll talk about that video too.
Okay.
The video was dope.
Thank you.
But I think there were about 3 songs that just hit me right where I was at this present moment. And I'm just like, that is real artistry right there, when you can make a person listen to words, but it puts them in a place where those words actually mean something.
Yeah. Sure.
The cost, number one, like where I'm at right now, you know, for me it's understanding who you are, appreciating who you are, and letting everybody know, like, yeah, this is what it is and this is what it's going to be. No discount, no whatever. This is who I am and this is what you'll get. If you pay for it or you don't.
Right.
Now, when you wrote the song, what was your motivation behind that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, you know, the cost is important to me because it's like, you know, a lot of people wonder sometimes like why I haven't put out more music, or why I haven't done more things solo, or why this hasn't happened or that hasn't happened, not realizing that it's sometimes can be extremely difficult to navigate the music industry and then navigate your life, your real life, and the music industry and all those things together. So it was kind of like, once I looked up and realized I had gone through all these things and been through all these crazy situations, I was like, oh shit, I haven't put music out in a while. And then I was like, I need to put some music out. So it felt like the first place I should start with is the journey, is where I've been and what's been going on with me in my life. And, you know, the high cost that I've had to pay and the price it's taken, you know, for me to get here, which is sometimes, most times, more than money. It's just the emotional things. It's the real life things. You know, you have to sacrifice or pay to get through, you know? And I think, you know, sometimes people don't understand that part. Like they may like a person's voice and not understand why they don't have more music out, or why they're not doing more, and not realizing that that's connected to a whole lot of other things that have to come together for things to really make sense, you know?
And because of all of that, those experiences, we are where we are right now with this new project. So let's go to my next favorite song. I think this is actually number one for me.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go with the title track, "Feel Away."
Okay.
Now, okay, everybody knows Toni Braxton. Now, there's a song that she wrote, the "Long As I Live" song, that song that she released, I think it was like 2-3 years ago, something like that. And the chorus pretty much says, "Long as I live, I'll never get over you getting over me." So yours is kind of the same, in a more way. Like, I see you've moved on, and I hope that you're happy. But like, don't forget about what we had. Don't forget about me. Like, I don't care who you go on to, I will always matter to you. So like that kind of hit me. Like I was speaking someone earlier about that, and I'm just like, you know, as you move on and you navigate life and relationships and things like that, like there's some situations that, you know, you appreciate the experience, but I don't ever care to think about this situation again. But then there are some situations where you're just like, yeah, I wish things could have been better. I do hope that you move on and, you know, you get everything that you deserve, but I wish I could have been the one to give it to you. Where did that song come from?
I mean, I think this is a real thing. I mean, I definitely write from my own experiences a lot, and I definitely have run into, you know, past experiences and kind of like had those feelings. But I think the thing that I've come to learn, and where maturity has brought me to, is a place of understanding that, number one, nothing is permanent, you know, and that, you know, people and experiences come in and out of our lives for seasons, and to teach us and to improve us and all those things. And that you kind of really shouldn't have hard feelings about things. It's just like, you got to let it be what it is. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully you both can be mature enough to look back on things fondly, you know, at least the parts of it that were good. So that's kind of weird.
I mean, but that's another song right there, getting to that point of maturity, because when you're in the middle of a breakup, it's F you, F this. You know, some people, you know, they may get a little volatile. I don't believe in domestic violence, but you know, that's a whole nother thing. But getting to that point where you're actually okay having those conversations with somebody who you were in a relationship with, actually being okay with that person, being okay with somebody else, like
because
that journey.
If you really love somebody, you want them to be happy, and you want them to be fulfilled. And if you aren't that happiness and you aren't that fulfillment, you know, you got to take the selfishness out of it and say, hey, you know, go do your thing, be happy. You know, I want that for you. I want that for me, you know?
So. I'm going to listen to that after this. Let's see. Number 3. I'm going to go with Affirmation.
Okay,
Now, that one, it wasn't what I was expecting when I looked at the word and first heard it. I thought it may have been, you know, like a message to yourself. But then listening to the words a little bit, I'm like, oh, I'm talking to the person that I'm with and giving them words of encouragement as to not down the person that I love. So it's like, it's me talking to you about the person that I love. And I'm just like, damn, that was clever.
Nice.
So tell us about that influence in that song.
I mean, I think the thing is, you know, we can be our own worst enemies a lot of times, you know what I'm saying? And it's about facing the person in the mirror, you know what I mean? And definitely you have it exactly right. It's talking to the person that you're with, like when they have those moments of like doubt and talking down on themselves, and you're like, yo, I wouldn't be with you if any of those things that you're saying were true. Why don't you look at yourself the way that I look at you, you know? And then later on, after kind of like recording it and living with it for a while, I also kind of started to think of it as like as if God was talking to us, you know what I mean? And it really falls into the same exact thing of like, you know, I don't make some whack shit, so you're not whack ever, you know what I'm saying? So like it's the same thing that you'll feel, you know.
See, now when I listen to the song, now I'm going to hear something completely different because I'm not going to be able to take what you just said out of my head.
Yeah.
See, songs with multiple meanings. I love it.
Yeah, for sure. Levels, man.
Yes. So I've just shared my top 3 songs. There are 8 songs. Now, out of all 8 songs, which ones like are your top few that you like absolutely connect with and love?
This groove is really special to me. I just love that it's like it's just fun. It's just a fun one. It's just a groove. It's like what makes it important to me is like I like you know, like that Chicago stepper sound. I like that whole just like, you know, just getting your 2-step on, because I'm not really like a dancer, but I love a little 2-step, and I love that moment when you can kind of like walk into a party and you have that moment, and that was kind of like that one's important for me. First of all, they're all super special to me and super important. It was hard to really pick. But definitely this groove, definitely affirmation was really important. I wanted to make sure I put that message out there and got that out there. Feel Away is, you know, super important and personal to me. Whatever it is super important and personal to me. Yeah, I mean, I love them all though, honestly. The Cost is my story. It's the journey that I've been going through. So obviously that's important to me. It was really hard to you know, pick. But once I picked the 8, they were really all things that were really personal that I loved. So, you know, yeah.
So on this journey, a lot of times, at one point in life, artists were very, I guess, guarded with their lives and their stories and the things that they have experienced. And the songs that they were singing were songs, just songs that they were singing. They weren't things that actually like connected to their life, or at least we did not know that. And what I am learning as people have been releasing music over the past couple months, couple years or whatever, a lot more people are diving more into authenticity, vulnerability in a way. Now for you to be able to release a body of work that reflects a lot of the things that you've been going through, was that a hard decision, or you know, was that something you were just like, this is time?
No, you know, it's honestly, I've always, you know, it's funny because I try sometimes to work with a bunch of other writers, and I try to do songs with other people. But I find that the things that stick to my ribs, the things that really like matter to me, that I want to sing over and over, are things that I write because it's what I relate to, and it's because it's my truth, you know. So I find it a lot easier for me to tap into emotion when it's something that's real to me. So that's kind of like, you know, what it is. And I mean, there are certain singers, like for instance, Whitney Houston, who never really wrote anything, but damn, she could articulate it better than anybody. So if you give her something that she feels like, she can articulate it. Like, and I'm like that with certain songs, like any songs that I cover, you know, No Ordinary Love, Sade, I love that song because I relate to that song. I feel that song. You know, and so that has kind of become something that's like relatable for me. You know, Get You, Daniel Caesar. I love that song. I relate to that song. So that's a song I cover. Jasmine Sullivan, Lost One. I covered that. Everything. Kehlani. It's got to be something that I'm really tapped into. But for the most part, when I'm releasing original material, somehow the things that connect to me are things that I write myself, you know, because they're my life, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, when it comes to the songs that you have covered, out of all of the songs that you've covered, which one to you means the most? And I'm gonna backtrack a little bit because this was another conversation I was having with your team right before you came on. There are a lot of songs that we listened to over the years. And we start out listening to them and singing them because the beats are good. Then as you get older, you try to find a way to connect the song with something that's going on in your life. And then when you get to a place where you actually understand the meaning of that song, it's like now you're not listening to the song. The song
Right.
is actually singing to you. Like,
Right.
what song does that for you?
I would say No Ordinary Love is definitely one of those songs for me. I mean, I grew up listening to it. It was, played in my house, by my mom and everything like that. And then when I got older and I started covering it, it took on a little life of its own. And then the more I started living and experiencing things, the more the words really meant even more to me. So I started to I can even, pull up different clips of me covering the song over the course of my career. And you can see that it means something totally different now than it originally meant. And it's a total different feel than it originally was. But yeah, that would probably be something that's the only song that I would say that I've covered pretty much since I started singing. And I've seen it evolve as the words mean more to me or mean something different to me. And, I've found new meaning in the melodies. I've found new meaning in the spaces, so yeah.
Okay. Now I want to play a quick little game. I'm gonna name 5 artists. 5.
Okay.
I want you to tell me the first song that comes to mind, and then, it's another question. And then I want you to tell me why that artist was important to music to you.
Okay.
All right. So we're gonna start with my favorite, Anita Baker.
Anita Baker. Wow. What's the first song that comes to mind? You bring me joy when I'm down. Right? Oh, so much joy when I lose my way. Your love keeps smiling on me. Anita Baker is so important because she was my mom's favorite artist. And I think every single time I got in the car in childhood, Anita Baker was playing. So I think for me, it's so personal. It's so a part of, it's in my veins. It's in my DNA. Anita Baker is one of the artists that's in my DNA. Like if I never purchased a song of hers or an album of hers, I know her voice, understand her voice. I understand her, who she is musically in a very deep, profound way because she's been a part of my life since, like I said, I was in a, sitting in the car seat, you know what I mean? So that's what that is. And what's cool is I got to take my mom to meet Anita Baker 2 years ago. And that was really cool. I took my mom to Anita's concert at the Staples Center, and I was able to bring her backstage, and my mom was able to meet Anita, and they had their talk, and that was really cool. So shout out to Anita for being amazing to my mom and to me. Yeah. So that's what
that's beautiful. That's beautiful. So all right, you took it hot, and I'm gonna take it low.
Okay. Luther Vandross. Wow. Okay. You know what I have to say about Luther Vandross is, first of all, I guess the go-to song would be "If Only for One Night." If only for one night. Yeah. Which, interestingly enough, I started doing like a kind of a Mariah Carey, My All into Only for One Night kind of like medley thing when I sing it. Because the songs kind of mean the same thing. They're the same lyrically. But yeah, the thing about Luther Vandross is very interesting is I did not have I hate to even say it now, but I didn't have the right appreciation for his music as a child as I should have. It wasn't until I got older and really understood music differently that I really went back and I was like, I really slept on Luther Vandross, And I think also another thing that helped me to kind of find my way with that is sitting into my voice more, like understanding my bass and my baritone and like the timbre of my lower register. Luther Vandross helped me to understand that a lot. And also the crooning, just being a crooner, like just singing those songs the way he did is incredible. Like I look back at some of those clips now, and shit, I sweat like Luther. If I'm on stage, I'm sweating, I'm going in, But it's that like, there is no note, there is no word that doesn't mean anything with Luther Vandross. Every note means something. Every space means something. Every breath means something. Everything means something with his performance. So I've learned a lot from him from that. And again, like he was a part of that same, them car seats, sitting in the car, rolling to school, all that stuff. He was a part of that. And I think I didn't really understand how important that voice was in my development until later,
Okay. Now let's see. Dionne Warwick.
Dionne Warwick. What comes to mind is oh my man, what's the okay. There's this performance that shout out to EJ Randolph. My voice trainer played me this performance of Dionne Warwick. All in Love is Fair. All in love is fair. Love's a crazy game. That one, right? So she it's incredible, this performance that she does. And I had always kind of, again, Dionne Warwick, the thing is, because of my age, because of where I kind of started out getting serious about music, I didn't understand the fullness of her voice, the fullness of what she done, and the fullness of what she meant to culture, Black music, white music. I mean, she was really the first Black voice to be on that pop level of like, success. And I don't think I understood that because, again, when I was a kid, she was already like, maybe, I don't know, in her 60s or something like that. I don't know. So, so I didn't really understand the levels to how far it went. But when I heard that All in Love is Fair, like, it's crazy. Like, I don't know, all love is fair. I'll never leave your side. The writer takes his pen and begins to write again. That all in love is fair. Actually, she goes, all in love is fair. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
I got chills. I missed the concert, but I'm certainly getting the show right now.
Yeah, man.
You know what? You just gave me a little bit of, and this is the next name I'm gonna go with. Donny Hathaway.
Oh, Donny Hathaway. Yeah, I mean, Donny Hathaway to me that's the perfect voice. If I could switch out my voice for a voice, it would be Donny Hathaway's voice. That's, to me, that's the perfect voice. I mean, every note is round and silky, and it's like a bed of clouds or a bed of pillows, and his piano playing is immaculate, and those songs are just so immaculate. I think, A Song for You is just, that's the best, one of the best songs that there ever was created. His version of it is specifically the best one that was created. And I love his vibrato. I love like the energy of his voice, the tone of his voice, the mood of his voice. Yeah, he's special, man. Donny Hathaway, I really wish that we were able to have gotten more music, a longer life and more material. But I relate to that voice. I've related to that voice from the first time I heard it. And it's always been important to me. Yeah.
Okay. Now let's see. The last one. Who can I pick? Let's go with Whitney.
Whitney Houston. Whitney Houston is my first memory of music. Whitney Houston was the most important, probably, voice in my house growing up, because my mom was a huge fan. My mom's also from Newark, New Jersey. and they're about the same age. So that was always important in my house. I remember seeing those first videos, like, as a kid. What's the you tell me we run away together. Love gives you the right to be free. You say be patient, just wait a little longer. And that's just it, all fantasy. I think it's too high, but
no, it sounds good. Whether you high or whether you low, we get the point, and it sounds good.
That's Whitney is like some of my first memories of music. Whitney Houston and Michael Jackson and Prince are like my first 3 memories of music, and I remember singing those songs and just like being blown away by what they did and wanting to do that. That was like the first steps of me, like not knowing really what I wanted to do, but knowing that I gravitated toward that stuff,
Yeah. So being who you are, being where you are in your career, to get to that super legendary status where, when you're no longer, on this earth, years and years and years and years and years from now, people are generations down the line, because a Dionne Warwick, that's like my grandmother's our grandmother's generation, and we're still influenced by her music. Luther Vandross and Anita Baker, Whitney, those are parents' generation, and music, R&B music, most music is inspired by their type of music today. What steps do you think it takes for an artist to be legendary, far beyond them being present with us?
Well, I think things are very different now. I think the way we consume music and media is very different now. So I think it's tricky because while, like, for instance, in the world of what I do, right, as far as male R&B or male soul singers or male voices, if you're looking for that sort of a thing, you probably pretty much kind of know me, but I think that there's like, it's harder now, I'd say, for people to kind of break through the surface to become legendary, because like there's such a, I don't know what to call it, a gap. And then there's like, everything's quick. So, people have these very short blips of, okay, one song in, one song out, or, like, I think now, of course, Beyonce will be legendary, right? She's always going to be Beyonce. That's that. I think Adele is a modern artist that will be legendary. But I don't know. I think it's becoming increasingly hard to sift through who's going to be like legendary in that type of a way. But what I really try to do is not really focus on that. It's just focus on smashing every time I do something.
Yeah.
If I'm going to sing live somewhere and you holding up a camera, I want that to be, I want it to be correct, so that the records always show, what I mean, that what it was. So, and I want for anytime somebody plays a song, for them to get something from it and be like, wow, like, and as long as that happens, I'm happy, I'm cool, That's really what I want to be. I want to be legendary to who checks for me. You know what I'm saying?
You know what? And I'm right there with you. Like, I appreciate your artistry. Like, God, we have conversations here and there. I'm like, you gave me a lot of other things. You could have gave me a voice too. But he knew what he was doing. It's okay. Whatever.
Hey,
but
we all can have everything.
I mean, we can't. But, for those of us who can't, there are those of us who do. And for me, a person who wants to.
No, I'm good. Thank you. Housekeeping. Sorry.
That's cool. There are people like you who make music that creates memories and, has us singing in the car, in the shower, just like we're actual singers. So, from a non-singer to an actual singer, I definitely appreciate it. And
Right?
you have created memorable songs.
That's what I
And
want.
I
I
can't,
really want it to be songs that people can live to, like that live their
yeah,
life to, and it ain't just like about the same topics over and over. It's about like actual relatable things, like because I always had those songs to go to when I was coming
mm,
up, and I feel like we kind of got into a weird place where there weren't that many songs coming out like that anymore.
yeah,
But I think that right now is a great time. I feel like a lot of that is coming back. You have a lot of great young artists right now releasing great songs that are actually heartfelt, that they actually be,
hmm
like you said, be not afraid to be vulnerable again, not afraid to talk about some real things that they're going through that's relatable. And it ain't about just, having sex or being in a club or
yeah,
whatever. Like it's kind of like I think people are digging for something deeper now, and that's
absolutely.
that's that's where I really really shine at. So
So, out of the artists that are out now, presently releasing music and touring and things like that, who are some of the artists that you're listening to, and some shows that you've actually been to when you're not um, on tour yourself?
yeah, I love so many artists. Okay, I'm a fan of so many people. But Jasmine Sullivan is just, you know, that's my dream collab. That's who I want to tour with. That's who I see, things evolving with because she just gets it. She just gets it. But
Yeah.
for me personally, Jasmine Sullivan is just that's it. But yeah, so I love Jasmine. I will go to see Jasmine as many times as I possibly can in this life. She's just an amazing artist, an amazing writer, an amazing producer, an amazing singer. I appreciate what she brings to this thing. I
hmm
mean, uh, so Jasmine Sullivan would be number one on that list. But yeah, I listen to like Snow Allegra. I really like her material. I like Janae Aiko.
hmm
Um, Let me see, what else am I listening to these days? I listen to Daniel Caesar. I listen to Giveon. Kenyon Dixon has a great project out that's dope. I listen to um, uh, Alex Isley. Just again, vibes. Let me think. So many. I'm trying to think down my playlist. Leon Bridges, Leon Thomas. Um, I'm trying to think of who I listen to on my playlist. Who else? I like Giveon. I like Giveon a lot. That's I like what he's doing. I like what he's bringing to music. I think that's really dope. Ari Lennox. Um,
Have you had
uh,
the opportunity to meet any of these people?
no, not yet. Not yet. I haven't yet.
Well,
I
see, you need to come on back to America real quick for a little minute because they over here. They might not be over there where you
It's
are right
true.
now. So come on back and
This is
meet these
true. No,
people.
I'm actually looking forward to actually being on some festivals and some shows with each other and kind of like starting to build and collaborate. I did a song with Alex Isley, so hopefully you guys get to hear that soon. I'm really excited about that. I have some other features and duets and things coming out. Oh, Coco Jones. I really like Coco
Oh
Jones.
yeah.
She's really dope. I'm really digging her stuff. And I just got put on to Jane Hancock, and she's really dope. I'm really looking forward to building with her because I could see us doing something really cool together. Um, but yeah, there's so many. I could really honestly keep going all day. I'm such a huge fan of music, and I'm finding new stuff every day, all day. Like some of the youngins I like. I like Zay France. I like Aaron Ray. I like Josh Levi. Tone
See,
Stith.
you giving me now Tone I've heard of, but you're giving me names that I've never heard of,
Oh,
and
okay. No, they
with
all worth looking up.
with you, being an artist who loves the artistry of music, the lyrics, the words, everything. When people made when the statement was made years ago, R&B is dead. How did that make you feel?
Well, I never really entertained that as a statement because the thing is, what it's just done is morphed into something kind of else, right?
Mm,
Uh, you know, the argument could be made that every single rap album over the last few years that's been successful has been an R&B album, because they've all been melodic. They haven't really been rapped where you're just saying words. Everything's been melodic. And some of that rap stuff has been more emotional and more vulnerable than the R&B stuff. So I think, you know, it's just taken on a different, you know, face. I mean, to me, a lot of the rap that we hear is basically R&B. You know, and what the thing is, the trick to it is sometimes it becomes more sing-alongable because they can't really sing, right? So it's like, in a way, it's like it's a simpler version of R&B that is more digestible to people who may not have like vocal ability, right? But as far as it being melodic, as far as it being our stories, like our culture, our stories, us singing about our thing, and like I said, there's been it's interesting that a lot of people who do want to sing and do want to be vulnerable still don't feel comfortable being vulnerable enough to call themselves R&B singers, but they feel comfortable to say they're rappers, but then they'll just be vulnerable and do R&B within that context. So it's like, you know, that's kind of where the evolution has come, where it's like, it's cooler to call yourself a rapper, even if you sing your entire album. So, and then let's not forget that, you know, when we go into the other side of things, pop music is completely, you know, most of the pop records of the last few years have been written by Black R&B songwriters. So, you know, there's that. So I think we are in every single facet of music, even country. You know, a lot of my friends who are great R&B soul songwriters have moved to Nashville and are writing country albums, you know? So I think we don't realize that R&B has penetrated every single space. Because at the end of the day, all it is storytelling and singing and kind of like, you know, from a vulnerable place. And ultimately that's what connects. That's what's always connected about it. Not to mention the other stuff is samples. I mean, how much stuff right now is samples of songs that was sampled before or sampled 3 times. This is the 3rd, 4th time they're using the sample, you know? So, which is great for our creators that created that stuff in the first place. But yeah, it was never dead and was never going to die, because at the end of the day, we still need love songs. We still need our stories told. We still need something to walk down the aisle to. Still need something to put on when we in the bedroom. We still need something to put on when we have heartache or heartbreak, you know? So it can't die because we're still here. So we're always going to express ourselves musically because that's what we do. So yeah, it won't die. It can't die. It's not dead.
You know what? Now that is a different way to put it. Now, when I heard about that, I realized there are, you know, still a lot of great R&B artists out here. It just wasn't pushed mainstream as it used to be. A lot of those names that you mentioned earlier, and if my count is correct, I think you mentioned like 11 people that are here making the music. You know, it's just that it's not being pushed as, you know, R&B once was. So yeah, R&B is here. R&B is going nowhere.
We could get deep into this, but there's an argument that a lot of people have been making recently, and I've had these conversations in some circles that I've been in, is that, you know, big business really kind of wanted to get out of the Black love business, because Black love, you know, is the building of our community, is the building of our families, is the building of our infrastructure, right? So if you get out of the Black love business, you know, you can promote things like that, you know, violence or this or that, or, you know, or not having, you know, strong relationship bonds. You can promote, you know, promiscuity. You could promote all those things. And it's not that those things didn't exist already in music, right? They've always been a part of it, but we always had, you know, the other side of it. We always had somebody singing on the radio that wasn't afraid to sing out their heart and say, I'm sorry for some bullshit I did, or like, you know, I'm heartbroken right now, and, you know, I don't know what I'm going to do, or like, you know what I mean? I think it's always finding the balance of the two things. But yeah, I think that what's happened recently and where we're seeing a resurgence is people are putting the music out themselves. So there's no like executives or no one to try to tell you that, you know, you can't sing about a certain thing, or that they're only going to put money behind a certain thing. You know, the sad thing is that, yeah, it is a lot greater chance that, you know, you will get a lot of money put behind you if your message is something that's derogatory. That's just the sad facts. But the good thing about this current space is that the playing field is a lot more level. It's just as easy for me to put something on Spotify or YouTube as it is somebody from this label or that label, right? And so, and the people are still there. The people are still looking and seeking to find the things that they cling to. So we're, you know, it kind of gives us a little bit of an advantage, you know.
Okay. Now, as we prepare to close, let's get back into the project. Now, there are, I think, 4 more songs that we did not mention. Now, I mentioned my top 3. You mentioned yours. Now, there are a few more. Oh, well, I think Champagne Jack and So Dry probably were the only ones that we did not talk about.
Yeah.
So tell us about those 2 songs, and then tell us why the people should listen to the project.
Okay, yeah. Well, Champagne Jack is actually a strain of weed. It's a strain of herb. And I was just being funny one day and just was like, what if I wrote a song from the perspective of the herb, like of the weed? Like if I was the weed and I wrote a song from that perspective. So that's what Champagne Jack is, you know, and because of the way it's written, like people interpret it however they're going to interpret it, as a person, as love making or whatever. But yeah, that's really where Champagne Jack came from. And I just was having fun with it. Like when I perform it live, I use my looper, and it creates like a low octave while I sing the high octave, which is kind of resemblance of how the record is. And it's just cool. It's just fun. I just wanted to have fun with it and just kind of like make it kind of like this hypnosis. And that's what that one represents to me. And honestly, what was cool about Champagne Jack is when I first brought it to, you know, my team and everybody, like people were like, we don't know about this because it's so vocal, it's so much runs, it's so much whatever. Then of course the subject matter, what I'm talking about, they were like, I don't know, we don't know about this one. But then without any promotional budget, without anything, it became like the second, you know, most streamed song that I had real quick. And then they were like, oh, okay, you know, second to Matching Tattoos, which of course had a big budget and all this money and a video and all this stuff. So they were like, okay, well, maybe you were right. So I kind of like pat myself on the back for that one a little bit. But yeah, that's Champagne Jack. And So Dry is cool because, you know, during the pandemic, I kind of had gone through a breakup, and, you know, part of that was the story of So Dry, which is like, you know, being on the road is not easy, obviously. And, you know, any relationship that you enter into, especially if it's new, there's going to be those questions of like, what are you doing out there? You know, like you're gone so long. What are you doing out there? Like, what's your real life like? Not realizing that, you know, most of the time you're in places where you don't even speak the language, or you're there for work. You get on a flight right after that. Nobody's trying to keep you someplace where, you know what I mean, you're just living there on their dime. So you move around, you out of there. As soon as you do the work, you're out of there. Like, so Dry was kind of me finding myself in that place of like, yo, I got rid of all of the folks that I could call, and now I'm like, oh shit, like I don't have no calls I can make. So literally So Dry is the quickest song that I wrote probably on the whole project, because it just wrote itself real quick. And I love that I was able to kind of like sing a little more bluesy, a little more gospel-y on that song. And when I do it live, of course, I take it all the way down that road. So we really go in on that one. So I love that So Dry. And the crazy thing is that So Dry is the one that I've gotten the most like feedback from the people that relate to the lyrics. That's the one that people have sent me the most messages about, like, yo, I went through this exact situation. So that's cool. I really appreciate that about it.
Okay. Now looping back to the beginning of the conversation, we were talking about the video. Excuse me for whatever it is.
Yeah.
So looking at the video, there are a lot of different aspects. There are different backgrounds and things like that. So the concept for the video, where did that come from? And how did it tie into the song?
Yeah. So the video concept came from, well, first of all, I was on tour. So I was on tour and I was trying to figure out how I was going to do a visual for this song while being on tour. And then I thought to myself, like, I think the coolest visual I could possibly do is kind of like my actual vantage point, which is I'm kind of I'm observing, people's relationships and observing people's loves, and I'm observing those things, but kind of slightly from a removed place because I'm just here for 5 minutes, Yeah. So I get up and I go outside. Like now, I'm in Australia. I get up and I go outside and I see people living their lives and having these relationships and these bonds. And you kind of like realize that there's something intangible that creates that. There's something that is not like, you can't really put a word on it. You can't really like call it out, but it's something that like you could see it. You could see it when you like, it's like when you see two people who trying to act like they're not together and like you're like, oh yeah, okay, I know what that is. You know what I mean? And they might not have said anything or done anything, but it's just it's this thing, that's intangible that you see in these relationships and in these bonds. And to me, I really wanted to try to capture that in the visual. So a lot of that is guerrilla style, us just kind of like asking people like, do you mind if we film you? Is it okay if we, or us like having filmed it from afar and then being like, hey, look at this, is this okay? And then like letting them hear the song and then being like, oh yeah, sure. We're fine with it. It didn't work all the time, but it worked enough times for us to pull a video together. And I shot in Paris, I shot in London, I shot in Hamburg, Germany, I shot in Amsterdam. And it was cool because even while we were shooting like my little performance shots, I was around like the Eiffel Tower and stuff like that. And like I would see people like just getting married or like new couples like holding hands or whatever kind of stuff like that. And when you see it, you're like, that's what the song is about. It's that intangible thing that it don't matter who is connected to on the outside. It's something that y'all got something that's deeper, So yeah.
Damn.
That's what
I can't wait till that song means that for me.
Well,
but soon enough, somebody gonna come in.
Soon enough. And somebody's gonna stand back and look and be like, yeah, what that is, that's what I want. Whatever that is, that's what I want.
But until then, I feel away. How about that?
Yeah, me too.
But look, yeah, sure. I appreciate this, man. This is the second time we've had our conversation. Let's not make it every 2 years, unless that's, how long it's going to be until you release. But whatever it is, you're always welcome on BLK Talk when you come to Atlanta. If I am not at that show,
no,
I don't think
just beat
it. Exactly. So I'm
gonna give you the heads up as early as possible. So
okay, absolutely. I appreciate that. I appreciate you for continuing to put out good music. I appreciate you for continuing to go. Even, when we go through our ups and downs in life, you're still out here doing things. You're touring, you're putting out music. I appreciate that consistency.
I appreciate that.
From one music level to another. Absolutely. Absolutely. You, as long as you keep doing that, you got my support. So I appreciate that. So enjoy the rest of your tour. Get on back to America so you can give us a little show here in Atlanta. Yes.
Absolutely.
And I do what I can to, support and push it out there so that the people can come support.
Much appreciated. Thank you, man. I appreciate you.